What's up, Obscura heads? Normally, I have a script for these videos, but spoiler alert, I'm not giving this place a good review, so I'm just going to kind of freestyle this.
She's a red hot magazine girl, and she's living in a dream world. She's a souped-up mama cedar. Oh, she's done something now. Oh, she's done something now.
Okay, straight into history. Here we go. History time. So, nice man, Thornwell Jacobs, seems like a very decent guy, very bright guy. He reestablished Oglethorpe University in 1913 in Atlanta, Georgia. And then he was inspired by his research into Egyptian history to create a repository of artifacts related to daily life that would last a long time. See, he was trying to learn about Egypt and came to the realization of, wow, everything we know about Egypt is based off of basically just two artifacts that survived. How are future people going to learn about our time now? And luckily, he was a university president and he had a pool that he was in charge of and said, you know what, we're going to take the swimming pool. I know the kids love it. This is going to hurt, but we're going to turn that into a tomb for a bunch of artifacts, and we're going to seal it off, and it's going to last forever. And then people far in the future are going to be able to learn stuff about us now. So he plotted to create the Crypt of Civilization, and he had a friend, Thomas K. Peters. I couldn't find a picture of him, so here's what I'm guessing he looked like. Thomas says, you know what, that's actually a great idea. How come nobody's thought of that? Let me hop in on this. And they spent the next 4 years, from 1936 to 1940, collecting artifacts to put into their Crypt of Civilization. They also had to decide how long to seal it off for. They picked the crazy number of the year 8,113. They picked that year because in 1936, which is the year Jacobs came up with this idea, that was 6,177 years after the Egyptian calendar had ended. So he said, okay, how about we close this thing until another 6,177 years from now? Okay, so ready or not, in 1940, they welded it shut, sucked all the oxygen out of there, and replaced it with inert nitrogen. And here's some of the items they put in it. Toaster, a cash register, some amount of R.D. Shaw records, no idea how many. Books like the Bible, the Quran, and the Iliad. A black doll, which I'd never heard of. Apparently, sometimes they're stereotypical, sometimes they're not, so you decide what to think. Some floss, recordings of, among other things, Hitler, Popeye the Sailor Man, and a hog collar. So when the people of 8,113 open up the crypt, they will be greeted by this lovely noise. A single bottle of Budweiser and a copy of Gone with the Wind. So I know what you're thinking, so what? There's time capsules everywhere. Well, the crypt was a pretty big moment for time capsules. Actually, it was the first moment. Remember Thornwell Jacobs? Oh yeah, you mean the father of the modern time capsule. Countless capsules built on Jacobs' ideas. And I think it's possible to say that he alone created the notion of figuring out how do we talk to the deep future from a scientific point of view. Okay, so that was some cool history, but how do I get there? It's at Oglethorpe University, home of Petey the Stormy Petrel. Here's Petey chasing a small child whom he wishes to devour. Here he is preparing to claim your soul as his own. Here he is directing you to the Petrel's nest for a quick bite between classes and definitely not to be tortured by him. In fact, the young children who live around Oglethorpe University can be heard to say this rhyme while playing in the streets. There once was a spirit, black, white, and gray. He would come around every May to take the students who didn't graduate or those who entered class and would flatulate. He isn't cute like Tweety, this horrible, lifeless bird named Petey. The new version of Petey looks much less menacing. Here he is displaying his only characteristic, not liking dogs. Okay, so there's ample parking all over the university, so just find a place to park, find your way to Hearst Hall, head on in, check out this absolutely royal fireplace. The capsule's in the basement, so turn left out of the entrance, find the stairs, you'll head on down. You'll see some really nice classrooms and these wonderful nap pods. But if you see the nap pods, you went the wrong way, turn around. I did not realize that class was in session, and that added a little bit to the exploration, kind of sneaking around. If you manage to find your way downstairs and don't go towards the nap pods, you'll find the capsule pretty easily. It's that large metal wall with that metal bulbous thing sticking out of it. You can read the plaque, read that it's sealed off to the year 8113. I wondered why it was sealed off till that year. Now, after the fact, I know. It's sturdy as heck. I tried to see if I could pry it open or see what was around the corners. You can't get in there. It's tough. It's made out of that Armco steel, which is now AK Steel, a Cleveland Cliffs company. Yeah, so there's not much to see. There's no display or anything really telling you anything about the time capsule other than it's there and it's closed. Actually, the most fun part of the exploration was this old-timey elevator down the hall. Look, it's got a metal gate you can close and old-timey switches. I accidentally rang the bell in there. Unfortunately, it didn't work though. It looks like it needs a key. They probably keep that key locked away somewhere to prevent people like me from using the elevator. That was definitely the highlight. I really wish the old-timey elevator worked, but it was cool just closing the gate and everything. Definitely recommend checking out the elevator. Yeah, after spending about 2 to 3 minutes at the time capsule and about 10 minutes at the elevator, I wandered around a bit more and then I left. So I told someone who attended Oglethorpe that I went to see the time capsule in the basement of one of the halls there, and they said, "What?" So the site gets huge points for obscurity. I really like that about it, but I was more interested researching and reading about the time capsule after the fact than when I was actually there. The degree to which this giant, airtight, blast-proof vault goes unnoticed, even by the students of Oglethorpe, makes it weird, and therefore a desirable destination. But I have to reckon that with the fact that without knowledge of what's inside or the significance of the site, you're just looking at a metal wall with an orb on it. The foresight and determination and intelligence of Thormal Jacobs is definitely something to be admired, but I have to give simply visiting the Crypt of Civilization an avoid at all costs. Yeah, I feel so bad. I'm so sorry. I really hope the next spot is cooler. Anywhere is cool, as long as you go there cool. See you next time.